Hi, Jordan School District. I'm Ashley, and this is a little bit about me. How I engage students in my classroom is through a variety of skills and tactics, most of which center around flexibility and student choice. I'll discuss that a little bit more in question three because I feel like it also applies there. However, I think the other thing I do to keep students engaged is to just have a good personal relationship with them. When you have a good level of trust and communication with your students, then they can give you the most meaningful feedback on how to help them move forward in their learning. And I have many examples of helping students with this in my classroom and being able to provide them with really specific individualistic instruction and feedback simply because I had a good working relationship with them, which I feel is most beneficial in the great scheme of things. I use assessment data pretty much the way any educator would. I use it to identify gaps. I use it to identify areas that maybe need a little bit more intense instruction or perhaps a different teaching approach. I also occasionally use it to help a struggling student to kind of keep track of them and where they're at. Um, I think the coolest thing I've ever used assessment data for was with an ELL student who was really struggling with reading. She had taken a reading assessment and was not happy with the results. And so I sat down with her, we talked about what the score meant, and we looked at some of her previous reading scores and realized she had actually made huge gains in reading. And the look on her face when she realized that all of her work and effort were actually paying off in gains was just, mwah. It was one of those great moments in teaching. And I think it gave her the motivation and confidence to keep moving forward through her struggles. And she actually ended up getting a Rotary Club scholarship her senior year, which was really cool. Lastly, diversity in my classroom has always been something that's been sort of baked in. I ran an online, in person, self paced program for 6 years. And this program is really cool because I utilize technology to structure and scaffolding and structure for students to help them access the learning while at the same time providing them tons of choice in what texts they read, how they demonstrate mastery, and what topics they spent time on. And then the in-person dynamic of the class allowed students to get individualized help and express passion for what they were learning in a way that was authentic. And so I would love to continue on with this tradition. I would love to take certain aspects of that program and move it into a general education classroom because I believe this is so important in addressing diverse needs, as well as keeping students engaged and allowing students to take ownership of their learning. Thank you.